Welcome to Kansas Ag Report with your host, Brian Hallman.
Welcome to Kansas Ag Report. I'm Brian Hallman, and here's our lineup for today's show. In Ag News, we'll take a look at local and national headlines affecting Kansas farmers. In our Ag Feature, we sit down with Tracy Streeter from the Kansas Water Office to discuss the Governor's 2014 Water Conference. And Inside Kansas Ag, Kansas Wheat provides us important information on celiac safe wheat, and Farm Bureau talks about transportation safety. And the news you need to know, we get our weekly update from the Kansas Livestock Association. We'll look back at last week's market activity with the guys from Paragon, and we'll let you know about important events coming up around the state of Kansas. Glad you could join us.
Closed captioning brought to you by Dick Edwards in Manhattan, selling America's #1 truck, the Ford F-150, for over 30 years. DickEdwardsAuto.com.
Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff. Progress powered by Kansas farmers. kansassoybeans.org.
Ag Risk Solutions. Experience, knowledge, integrity. Your crop insurance solution, Ag Risk Solutions. Dick Edwards Auto Plaza in Junction City, home of this year's Motor Trend Truck of the Year, Ram Truck. DickEdwardsAuto.com.
Here's our national headlines for this week in Ag News. The USDA's Agricultural Marketing Service is seeking input from the public on a new industry-funded order for beef and beef products. The new order would be in addition to the existing beef checkoff program. Interested parties have until December 10th to submit comments to regulations.gov. USDA has approved the commercial planting of a genetically engineered potato. The innate potato, developed by J.R. Simplot, is said to resist bruising and to have a lower acrylamide, which is a potential carcinogen produced when a potato is fried. The innate potato is proven to be 50 to 75% lower in acrylamide than regular potatoes. The National Potato Council, which represents potato farmers, welcomes the approval, but with reservations. In a letter sent to President Obama last week, the National Corn Growers Association asked him to intervene with the EPA regarding proposed cuts in the 2014 volume obligations for the renewable fuel standard. The letter discusses how the ag sector has met its responsibility in growing sufficient feedstock for the biofuels and states, quote, the EPA's proposed policy decision is driving the biofuels sector overseas. This is a decision we cannot afford in America's heartland, end quote. In local news, Kansas Senator Pat Roberts is poised to become chairman of the Senate Committee on Agriculture, Nutrition, and Forestry. If confirmed, Senator Roberts would become the first congressional member to serve as chairman of the Agricultural Committee for both the House and Senate. And now with the GOP controlling both houses, agricultural concerns over proposed regulations by the EPA could be slowed down. The Konza Prairie Biological Station's long-term ecological research program will continue for another 6 years due to a $6.7 million grant renewal from the National Science Foundation. The Konza Prairie is an 8,600-acre native tallgrass prairie research station jointly owned by Kansas State University and Nature Conservancy. Research projects at Konza Prairie include investigating burning and grazing, climate change, and nutrient enrichment. The long-term ecological research program also supports education programs of students from elementary school to college. Last week's Kansas crop condition report had winter wheat rated at 2% poor, 34% fair, 57% good, and 7% excellent. Sorghum rated was at 11% poor, 31% fair, 44% good, and 9% excellent. Corn harvested was at 86%, equal to both last year and the average. Soybeans harvested was at 72%, behind last year and the average of 80%. Up next in our Ag Feature, we sit down with Tracy Streeter from the Kansas Water Office to discuss the Governor's 2014 Water Conference. You're watching Kansas Ag Report. Please stay tuned.
This segment brought to you by Grass and Grain, online or in the mail, keeping Kansas farmers informed for over 60 years. GrassandGrain.com.
A.B. Flint Motor Company, selling quality used cars and trucks in Southeast Topeka at 32nd and South Kansas Avenue. Integrity Gun and Pawn, 2 Topeka locations specializing in firearms and training. igpawn.com to learn more. Kansas Weed Commission, leaders in the adoption of profitable innovations for weeds. Online at kswheat.com.
I'm Dr. Frank Lyons, a physician here at Kansas Regenerative Medicine Center. As one of the only standalone stem cell centers in the U.S., we use your stem cells as therapy for arthritis and some autoimmune diseases.
I'm Dr. Andrew Poe, here at Kansas Regenerative Medicine Center. Utilizing the latest technology under strict protocols, we're able to harvest your stem cells from your own fat to treat a variety of medical conditions. The best part about it is, it's a same-day surgical procedure and requires no general anesthesia.
American innovation is being driven in places you might not expect by people like Brent Hayek, an Oklahoma family farmer, who recently set a world land speed record in a Ford Super Duty pickup truck powered by renewable B20 biodiesel. Advanced performance is here, now, putting America on the fast track to more jobs and energy independence. Biodiesel, America's advanced biofuel.
At Ag Risk Solutions, we have been helping our clients make better crop insurance decisions since 1981. We always focus on helping you find the best coverage options for your farm, and it will give you peace of mind knowing you have a partner you can trust. To learn more about our agency, please visit our website, like us on Facebook, or follow us on Twitter. Ag Risk Solutions. Experience, knowledge, integrity. Your crop insurance solution.
Ag Risk Solutions is an equal opportunity provider.
Here at Blue River Traders, we have the greatest selection of rustic and western furniture in Kansas.
At Blue River Traders, you can select from an inventory of rustic lodge or western furnishings. With a designer on hand, Blue River Traders will help create the look you desire.
Dick Edwards is taking North Central Kansas by storm. We've been bending over backwards to exceed your car buying experience for over 30 years. Choose from one of our 9 different new car brands or from our second to none used selection. Currently, with over 700 vehicles to choose from, we definitely have the one for you. Whether you're coming from the north, south, east, or west, our sales and service departments will work tirelessly to do what's right for you. Dick Edwards in Manhattan and Junction City. Bending over backwards for you.
Thanks for staying with us this morning. We're at the 2014 Governor's Conference on Water. We're joined by Tracy Streeter. Thanks for joining us, Tracy.
My pleasure, Brian. Good morning.
A year ago, Governor laid out a plan, I guess you might say, and basically put you in charge of that plan, your department, the Kansas Department of Ag, to come up with a vision for 50 years of water here in the state of Kansas. Today's a big day.
It is.
200 plus meetings all across the state, and today you're going to talk about it.
This year went by really fast. We were all over the state numerous times. It is a big day. We're unveiling the second draft of the vision. As you know, in July we had the first version came out we called it a preliminary discussion draft that helped us formulate what we've got today that we're unveiling. So yeah, it was a culmination of a huge effort, and I just really am pleased that we had so much interest. I think if this vision document doesn't accomplish anything else, it's raised the awareness and has elevated Kansans' concern about water and got them in the game. Mm-hmm. And I think that's huge. Of course, there's a lot of great things to do in this document, and we're excited to move on to the next step.
And you and I sit down and talked in July. I think you were a little surprised of not only agriculture's role in this, but also, I guess, people who aren't involved in agriculture. You got a lot of input from a lot of people.
We did, and we did that purposefully. We looked at who uses water in Kansas, and we tried to make sure we reached out to everybody, even the individual and the general public. We had a round of 12 meetings in July that was designed particularly for folks that don't belong to an organization or an interest group that's involved in water. And so, we had close to just under 1,000 people, I think, come to those public meetings as well. So that was huge. And of course, we've got lots of organizations involved in agriculture and municipal water supply and industrial use that always are involved in following water policy. And so they've been real engaged in this process.
What's the takeaway? We've just got a little bit of time here in our first segment. What's the takeaway, and we'll finish it up in a second.
Regional planning. is kind of the key. And we've done that in our water plan for years, but one thing that we're proposing is to change the way we do that, at least geographically. We have groundwater and surface water, so the way we looked at our state from a planning standpoint is 12 major river basins, surface hydrology, and now we're proposing to go with kind of a hybrid that looks at our aquifers as planning units. And that's what we unveiled at the conference, and we're gonna get started. Next step, next year, is to take most of the year to develop the regional goals in these new planning areas.
Well, I know there's a lot going on in your department. When we come back from the break, we're going to talk about some of the big things going on at the Kansas Water Office. So you're watching Kansas Ag Report. We'll see you in just a minute.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Regenerative Medicine Center. Your stem cells, your health, your life. Farmers Insurance, your best protection against the unexpected. Call Agent Dan Key at 785-408-5459. Grass and Grain, online or in the mail, keeping Kansas farmers informed for over 60 years. grassandgrain.com. Blue River Traders, the finest selection of Western-style furniture for your home. BlueRiverTraders.com.
Tracy was put in charge, his department was put in charge of coming up with the 50-year plan for the state of Kansas. Let's talk about LEMA. I know it's a big deal, a lot of things going on there.
Yes, the local enhanced management areas were a tool that came out of legislation in 2011 and 12 that basically put local water users in charge of their own future in terms of water use reductions and conservation. And the first one's in Sheridan County that's finishing the second growing season. At least the report from the folks that are involved in that have said it's been a success. They've been able to cut their water usage without really impacting themselves economically all that much. And Mother Nature's been helpful in that regard, but we're very excited that they're being successful because we want to see that replicated throughout the Ogallala region. And so we're pretty excited. In fact, the Sheridan County LEMA folks are going to be here today and kind of showcase today and on their efforts at the conference.
Oh, you're talking about reservoirs, and one of the things extremely important to reservoir is sediment.
Yes.
Making sure that that sediment's taken care of. John Redmond, I know, is a project that you guys are extremely proud of, and it's a huge project.
It is. It's a kind of our flagship reservoir in terms of the first reservoir that would be dredged in the United States, actually, we're told. And it's not just dredging, it's a whole comprehensive package that looks at watershed work above the lake to make sure we keep sediment out in the first place. Focused on stream bank restoration and reestablishing vegetation along the stream so that we don't have that sediment come from that source. And that's primarily where it's coming from. And so we've got a lot of targeted projects above the lake that we have done and will do with this project. In addition, we're looking at that first dredging effort. It takes a lot of hoops to go through, as you might imagine, with the federal government, environmental, and just actually conducting a non-federal activity on a federal project is a pretty big deal to the federal government. You just don't walk on to a federal lake and say, we're going to do this. And so our staff, and Susan Metzger in particular, has spent months working through that process. The good news is we're really over the hump on that, and we're starting to get down to the point where we're ready to start building disposal sites, and we hope to launch a dredge in John Redmond sometime middle of next year.
One of the other things that was in the news a while back was the agreement between Nebraska and Kansas when it comes to the Republic. Mm-hmm. Again, that's another big deal for the state of Kansas.
It is. Obviously, if you look at I think most folks know that water doesn't stay within political boundaries, and that's certainly true at the state level. The Republican is a big deal in northwest Kansas and north central Kansas, and ultimately the Republican serves Milford Reservoir and the Kansas River. So, it's a big system, and we got to make sure that we're abiding by our compacts that we made many years ago. And so the Supreme Court hearing on the case in October was a huge milestone. We hope we get past that. We find out what the result of that is and move forward. I think the most important thing is from the vision process is we kind of see a different way of doing business going forward. And Secretary McClaskey at the Department of Ag is leading an effort with the interstate water team and folks from my office to see if we can collaborate with Nebraska and Colorado and come up with solutions where we all win. We get our water, they aren't harmed economically anymore than they have to be, but ultimately we want to make sure we get our water. That's the most important thing. Compensation's nice, but we want water.
Sure.
And so we're working with them and have been while we waited to go to the Supreme Court. we have been meeting monthly with the two states to look at how we're going to go and how we're going to operate in the future.
Tracy, thank you for your time.
Thank you, Brian.
What would it take for a person with celiac disease to be able to have their wheat and eat it too? That is exactly what Dr. Chris Miller hopes to find out in a research project funded by Kansas wheat farmers through the Kansas Wheat Commission. Roughly 1 in 140 people, or less than 1% of the population, suffer from celiac disease, which prevents the body from digesting gluten, the protein in wheat. Miller, a biochemist working on cereal proteins, is working to lay the groundwork for creating a celiac-safe wheat, and one that could still make a great-tasting, good-looking loaf of bread. The first step of the project is to identify the level of celiac disease reactivity in wheat cultivars. Wheat breeders can use this information to screen new and upcoming varieties for lower naturally occurring levels of reaction for human celiac disease. No other research into human celiac disease is taking this approach. Miller's work tackles the exact genetic cause of the disease. At the end of the 2-year project, Miller will have created the most comprehensive study of wheat proteins related to celiac disease ever published. You can learn more about celiac-safe wheat and other wheat checkoff funded production research by visiting kansaswheat.org/research.
Since 2010, 56 farmers in Kansas have lost their lives working to provide us with the food, fiber, and fuel that we all need. So far in 2014, there have been 4 farm fatalities reported. Farmers and ranchers work long hours during the harvest season. Shortcuts and carelessness may lead to operator injuries, most of which could be avoided. Accidents can occur when fatigue, stress, and racing against Mother Nature become part of the end-of-season rush. Proper maintenance can play an important role in efficient combine operation. Whenever you are performing service or maintenance on your combine, your first step must be to shut off all power. Always follow this rule without exception: 1 seat, 1 rider. Never allow extra riders on any type of farm equipment, even with an enclosed cab, and always use your seat belt. Last but not least, operator discomfort is not only distracting, it also contributes to fatigue, which is a common cause of accidents. Before operating your combine, adjust the seat and steering column so you can reach all controls easily. Keep a cell phone nearby so you can summon help if necessary. Combine operators must be concerned with all aspects of harvesting and stay alert for situations which may cause them to be injured. According to recent statistics, 80% of all combine accidents are caused by human error and unsafe operator decisions. For more information on farm safety, please visit our website, www.kfb.org, where we offer a variety of resources designed to make us all more safety-minded.
This segment brought to you by Oldie Seed Farms, carrying soil-specific seed. Find them on the web at oldieseed.com. That's OHLDE seed.com. A.B. Flint Motor Company, selling quality used cars and trucks in southeast Topeka at 32nd and South Kansas Avenue. Integrity Gun and Pawn, 2 Topeka locations specializing in firearms and training. igpawn.com to learn more. Impact Satellite, your local authorized DirecTV dealer. Impact Satellite at 785-554-5974.
Dick Edwards is taking North Central Kansas by storm. We've been bending over backwards to exceed your car buying experience for over 30 years. Choose from one of our 9 different new car brands or from our second to none used selection. Currently, with over 700 vehicles to choose from, we definitely have the one for you. Whether you're coming from the north, south, east, or west, our sales and service departments will work tirelessly to do what's right for you. Dick Edwards in Manhattan and Junction City, bending over backwards for you.
Imagine having someone help you pick the best corn hybrids for every field on your farm. Your Oldie representative can combine your data with his data to offer a field-by-field prescription. Contact Oldie Seed today at 877-692-4555.
Tammy the Pro Home Plus is all about providing warmth and kindness to aging individuals who find it difficult to live on their own. Tammy's team is made up of experienced caregivers and nurses committed to the highest level of individualized care, focusing on health and well-being, and assisting with nutrition, grooming, medications, therapies, and daily living needs, all in a warm, caring environment. Call Tammy the Pro Home Plus today at 785-383-7094 to learn how we can help.
The producer-funded Kansas Wheat Innovation Center was built to get improved varieties into the hands of farmers faster. Kansas Wheat, farmers advancing their future through wheat genetics research.
This hog is Hanover hoof for meal made from U.S. soybeans. Now, one hog isn't that impressive, but suppose we add another, and another, and another. Before long, you've got billions of hungry customers around the world all clamoring for the same thing. Our soybeans. Learn more about the billion-dollar appetite of animal agriculture at BeyondTheElevator.com. Brought to you by America's soybean farmers and their checkoff.
Dick Edwards is taking North Central Kansas by storm. We've been bending over backwards to exceed your car buying experience for over 30 years. Choose from one of our 9 different new car brands or from our second-to-none used selection. Currently, with over 700 vehicles to choose from, we definitely have the one for you. Whether you're coming from the north, south, east, or west, our sales and service departments will work tirelessly to do what's right for you. Dick Edwards in Manhattan and Junction City, bending over backwards for you.
Since 1983, the Hydrobed has been utilized on cattle operations throughout North America. The Hydrobed equips your 3/4 or 1-ton truck for hay handling and feeding. Variable speed cable controls or the optional wireless remote enable you to haul, transport, and unroll 2 round bales weighing up to 3,000 pounds each. A mechanical free float automatically compensates for uneven ground and out of round bales, isolating you and the truck from impact of bale unrolling. To find out how the Hydrobed can improve your feeding efficiency, call or visit us on the web at triple-c-inc.com.
Despite unified opposition from mainstream cattle organizations, U.S. Agriculture Secretary Tom Vilsack has proceeded with a proposed beef checkoff separate from the existing $1 per head program. The new checkoff would be established under a 1996 federal act that allows for more government control and less producer influence over checkoff investments than the existing program created under the Beef Promotion and Research Act of 1985. Official notice of the proposal appeared in the November 10th Federal Register. USDA is seeking public input on a number of questions related to the proposed new checkoff. KLA and the National Cattlemen's Beef Association will provide comments opposing the proposal prior to the December 10th deadline. KLA and 44 other state cattlemen's associations representing 170,000 members sent a letter to Vilsack last month urging him to abandon efforts to establish an additional beef checkoff under the Commodity Promotion, Research, and Information Act of 1996. The cattle organizations expressed deep concern that USDA's unilateral action would harm the success of the existing checkoff. The National Cattlemen's Beef Association strongly supports the position taken by state affiliates.
If you'd like to advertise your business on kansasAGreport, give us a call at 785-554-5974.
Hi, I'm Brian Holder with Paragon Ag. The U.S. corn harvest is now 80% complete, back on track with the 5-year average. Bulls are talking weather concerns with 1 billion plus bushels of corn still in the field, but the bears seem content now that we're back on track with harvest. The USDA report for corn was bullish for the second month in a row. Carryout was expected to be 2.135 billion bushels, came in at 2.008. They also lowered yield from 174.2 to 173.4. The initial response to the report last week was a move higher, only to fade by late day. Traders get concerned when markets cannot rally on a bullish headline, so caution is warranted. Now that harvest is almost complete, all eyes will shift towards the demand side of the equation and South American weather. Soybean prices initially stalled after the USDA report with a slightly bearish bump in yield and a slightly bullish bump in exports. Carryout is still large domestically and on the world front, but soy meal tight supplies and rail logistic problems domestically keep us cautiously optimistic for higher prices. The wheat market continues to consolidate as the USDA lowered the global supply estimate by 1.1 million tons, but offsetting was global consumption also lowered 1.4 million tons. World supply looks heavy in wheat and demand is not bullish, but the cold temperatures are supportive. For now, we continue to watch the US dollar and exports. Without improved exports, futures will struggle. For questions or comments, give Paragon a call at 888-452-8751.
If you'd like to advertise your business on Kansas Ag Report, give us a call at 785-554-5974.
Closed captioning brought to you by Dick Edwards in Manhattan, selling America's #1 truck, the Ford F-150, for over 30 years. DickEdwardsAuto.com. Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff. Progress powered by Kansas farmers. kansassoybeans.org. Ag Risk Solutions. Experience, knowledge, integrity. Your crop insurance solution, Ag Risk Solutions. Dick Edwards Auto Plaza in Junction City, home of this year's Motor Trend Truck of the Year, Ram Truck. DickEdwardsAuto.com.
Well, that's our show for today. I hope you'll join us each week for more news and information about agriculture in the state of Kansas. I'm Brian Holman, and thanks for watching.
Here at Blue River Traders, we have the greatest selection of rustic and western furniture in Kansas.
At Blue River Traders, you can select from an inventory of rustic lodge or western furnishings. With a designer on hand, Blue River Traders will help create the look you desire.
Imagine having someone help you pick the best corn hybrids for every field on your farm. Your Oldie representative can combine your data with his data to offer a field-by-field prescription. Contact Oldie Seed today at 877-692-4555.
Tammy the Pro Home Plus is all about providing warmth and kindness to aging individuals who find it difficult to live on their own. Tammy's team is made up of experienced caregivers and nurses committed to the highest level of individualized care, focusing on health and well-being, and assisting with nutrition, grooming, medications, therapies, and daily living needs, all in a warm, caring environment. Call Tammy the Pro Home Plus today at 785-383-7094 to learn how we can help.